Hello everyone and welcome back. Now, if you joined me earlier this week, we talked about how Delmise is going to Pokemon Go through leaks that are found in the files, and in that same leak I managed to find Kubfu and Urshifu changes. So we're going to go through everything we know about them coming to the game soon, and also how will they debut, because I'm going to be making a video later either this week or next week talking about the Legend ZA leaks and how they're going to be impacting Pokemon Go, because as we know, Pokemon Go is a bit behind on every single release of games, but is there going to be any promotions? We'll talk about that later, but let's talk about Kubfu today. So, first, Kubfu is a pure fighting type, meaning it has a weakness to Fairy, Flying, and Psychic, and it's resistant to Bug, Dark, and Rock, and it maxes out at 1919 CP, with 170 attack, 112 defense, and 155 stamina, with a 20-kilometer body walk distance. Its fast attacks will be Rock Smash and Counter, and its charged attacks will be Brick Brace, Close Combat, and Dynamic Punch. From a raid, its Hundo CP will go from 911 CP to 970 CP, and weather boosted 1139 to 1212, although I doubt it'll be in raids. We'll talk about that later, about how it's going to debut. Its wild Hundo CPs are on screen right now, there you go, and its research CP is 683 to 727 as a base catch rate of 2%, and its shiny is bad. It is a bad shiny, let's just be honest. But Urshifu is the main event, so that's just about Kubfu. Urshifu is what we're going to talk about. First of all, originally it would cost 400 candy to evolve to Urshifu, but it is now 200, as we've seen changes previously, so it's gone from 400. Then the first change made to Kubfu is that they've changed obviously the evolution cost, and now recently they've changed, they've added like an encounter for it. As we know, because they've added in the files with Delmise, they added like the catch rate, I'll show it on screen, I'd rather not like improvise. So it has two forms, Rapid Strike and Single Strike, and in leaks it costs 200, but in the games another item is used, and it may be brought to the game soon, with the Scroll of Darkness for Single Strike and with the Scroll of Water for Rapid Strike. Now, both of these forms max out at 4077 CP, with Rapid Strike being a Water and Fighting type, and Single Strike being a Dark and Fighting type. Now, both have an attack of 254, a defense of 177, and a stamina of 225. And they both know the same fighting moves as Kubfu, with a couple of extra ones, with Rapid Strike knowing Waterfall and Equijet, and Single Strike knowing Sucker Punch and Payback. Now, both of these are legendary Pokemon, not mythical, so don't get that twisted. And they do have their signature moves, which are apparently just broken in the main game. So I'm interested to see how they do in Pokemon Go, or if we'll even get them, or maybe at a later debut, so after they debut, maybe a couple of months afterwards. So Rapid Strike will know Surging Strikes, and Single Strike will know Wicked Blow. Now they both do have a shiny, and they're both absolutely horrendous, but they do have gmax forms, so don't forget about that. So, gmax forms. It's going to go towards how I'm going to think about how it's going to debut, so let's get into that now. For what we know in leaks, it's had edits since December of last year with the alteration of their candy cost, and a more recent one making their catch and counter function. So, what does this mean? This means it will be added to before a Go Fest, or may even feature as the main Pokemon, or be a paid ticket research Pokemon. For example, Pyukumuku was released in 2023, written across Marine Marshadow, but not added to this game to this day. Yet no other updates or changes have been made to the Pokemon itself, unlike Kubfu, perhaps hinting to the addition to the Pokemon that may come sooner rather than later. So be prepared for that. I'm actually going to make a video like probably either next week or the week afterwards, talking about all of the leaked Pokemon and Megas that are actually in the files right now that Niantic have just kind of left out for a while. Which actually recently they side tangent, they released the Mudbray will be coming soon, which is fun to think about. So, what do I think in its introduction? It has a Gmax form, so the introduction of Kubfu through research means it can't actually become a Gigantamax Pokemon. As we know, the feature for Gigantamax is a bit weird currently, and obviously with the separation between the Pokemon itself and the Gmax form. So we're either going to get the introduction, then the Gmax forms later, but I think it might be all in one go. Now, does this eliminate the possibility of it being in research? Absolutely not, but it can make it more likely to be an initial introduction than a raid feature later, like a wild area event. It can be the main feature of Go Fest, as Kubfu and research, both Urshifu's and raids and Gmax forms, although it is rather lame, in my opinion, because if you want to have a Go Fest, it's got to have a great shiny, if you know what I mean. And this is just kind of a lame shiny. And it can be noted that both are currently shiny locked in the games, meaning that Pogo can't even introduce the shiny yet, because obviously there are rules. And previously, we've had the cast form weather forms debut only in Pokemon Go, but I believe for Mythicals and Legendaries they can't actually debut them. Now, with everything in mind, what do I think it will debut as? I can see it as a wild area debut. I think the event seems more focused on gmax raids and regular raids between the two separate forms, just like Toxtricity, where we had the low key and the amped form, so two different forms could work well, and it could transition seamlessly. And with Kubfu being an egg, just like Toxel was with a high candy evolution, and actually both of these have high candy costs. So it could end up coming up sooner, so it could come up during Go Fest, but I genuinely think a certain Zeraora is going to be debuting during Go Fest, but we're going to go into that one in a future video. So thank you for subscribing, watching, liking, and enjoying the video. And I'll see you guys next time, and let me know what you think Kubfu will be in the comments. See ya!